explain Alexander just a little. One of the things I found is he says that we are kind of held in a routine. And if you never get where you're pushed or step out of that routine or challenged, you will feel comfortable in that. He says it's like if you have a vanilla ice cream cone every day and you think that's good and what else do you need? But he says, let me put a cherry on it one day and then see how your ideas change. So what he likes to do is kind of push you just a little beyond what you accept as your reality and then kind of bring you back and say, you didn't notice this before, but maybe now there's something here for you. So with that, let me bring Alexander in, and I think he's going to talk about the future, certain things that are possibly going to happen, and how you manifest the future. So today's Charger football game, so there's probably a lot of prayers going out about footballs. Recognize that that's legitimate. It's when you put your effort into a thought or an idea, those energies go out. Now, whether or not it will influence the game to that extent, I don't know. Alexander says when you put a prayer out or you put a thought out, what manifests is the ones with the most energy. So it depends on how much the other side is putting out as far as this ball game goes. So we'll see later today, I guess, of how that works out. So with that, let me bring Alexander in. Greetings. We are Alexander. So we honor you for being here and thank you for the opportunity to join in your energies and suggest that there's more to you than sits in this room. You are multidimensional beings. You are influencing on a lot of different levels. Even today is the things you think, your realities, and the things that are manifesting about you. Now, one of the things we really wish to impress upon you is how powerful you are when you manifest the things that you want in your life. One of the things that we have found most interesting is when we tell you that you manifest everything that happens, you think, well, this is what I had in mind, so there's no big deal. I was going to do this anyway. But the thought is a creative element. And if you're into spirituality, there's a tendency to separate your routine or your everyday creations from the things that you're hoping to have happen. So the ones that you think, well, I was going to do this anyway, those are the easy ones because you have already accepted those. You have already laid out plans of how you're going to accomplish that. But the things that you are trying to accomplish, the things that feel a little more difficult, aren't difficult simply because you've already decided, well, I'm not sure exactly how to accomplish that. The way to accomplish the things that you want in your life is simply to imagine them, meditate, outpicture those. Think of how you're going to reach your goal rather than saying, I'd like to have $1 million or whatever else, or a big house or relationship. Imagine step by step in your meditations and outpicture that. And you'll find that works great. That gives you a reinforcement about how you're going to accomplish it. If it's just a pie-in-the-sky dream, it most likely is not going to happen, simply because you have this final vision of what you want. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. You have to have some sense of how you're going to get there. After all, you're the creator. There's nobody here that's saying you can or cannot do it. This is up to you. That's how you manifest day to day. So the difficult things you want to do, if you don't meditate or you don't have some sense of awareness, you're going to have a little bit more difficulty accomplishing those things. But set those in your meditation and think on them, and you'll find that they will manifest without you spending all the time and effort trying to figure out how you're going to do that. They simply will show up. And the more that you can turn those loose, you're going to find the better they're going to work. Now, you're here because perhaps you wish to know what's going to happen in 2014. We have suggested before that certain things are designed to happen. Timetables are very difficult simply because it is not about time or your minutes ticking off. It is about events happening. So when we tell you this may happen next week, it can happen 2-3 years from now. If things don't happen, there's a progression of things. One builds upon the other. So this is what we're speaking of. Now, when we look into the future, we have to tell you one of the things we see is there's a lot of house fires like happening, more so than usual. Now, the first question is, you will think, well, why would you have that? But it is a time of burning away old ideals, old concepts. So expect that to be part of the creations that's going to happen. Another thing you do not wish to hear, we're almost certain, is we also see the possibility, the potential of an earthquake or two in this that you call your California, between northern and southern California. Different ideals clash, cause those things. And indeed, you may even see the big one that to speak of. So that is not to put you into a fear base, but to recognize how your energies create. Everything has a cause. The earth, Mother Earth, is simply the recipient of those, and she agrees. The one that puts the most energy out, the most conflict, is displayed. Now, the first thing you say, well, I'm not so sure about that. This is the cherry on top of the ice cream cone. You have noticed your medias, have you not? Your TVs and everything. If you think that is not a strong influence, then think again. This is where most of your realities come from. This is how you create into the future. They will say something on TV, for instance, global warming and the consequences. More storms, more severe storms. Those are media-driven creations, simply because you're thinking, well, if that's what they say, it must be true. But it is only true because it's what you believe. Now, if you are caught up in the fear base on that, you may find yourself caught up in those creations. But if you simply say, okay, that's perhaps what's happening, and don't buy into the fear base, then you most likely will have nothing to do with it. It will show up on your media and you say, well, this is what's happening. If you buy into the media or the things that we predict for the future about house fires and stuff, then indeed you may have your house on fire. That is not what we wish for you, but we wish you to be aware that your thoughts, whether they're positive or negative, whether you're in fear base or a positive outlook on life, have an effect. Just like your media has an effect. And most people in spirituality, we believe, have a tendency to try to separate those things. They think, well, this is my routine. This is what I do every day. So this is not creation. This is what I was going to do. And everything beyond that, the things that are difficult to accomplish or the things you wish to accomplish, get to be, in belief, difficulty. And you create those simply because you have accepted that idea. And the only difficult part of that thing is simply the mind saying, this has got to be difficult because I do not see the steps to get there. So that is what we're wishing to show you or to suggest to you. So recognize that you have the power to do and create whatever you wish. But it is a step-by-step process for most. If you have not done it before, and this is brand new to you, creating what you wish, then you're going to find you're going to have to figure out how you're going to get from A to B to C to D. It is a step-by-step process. You start off with creating something that you wish. You step into that energy and say, well, what's the first thing I have to do? That is personal creation. That is where your power is. Now, you also are linked into this, what we call mass consciousness. But then it gets to be a battle of whose energy is the most, whether it is the ones opposed to you or whether or not the ones that are not opposed to you. So you have choices. Now, you think, well, if I'm only one person and there's millions of people, what chance do I have to influence that? But if you will notice, most people watch your media news and they say, okay, this is what it is. So they do not make a choice. They simply say, well, we'll go along with whatever is happening. But you have the ability to change that whole concept, the things that are happening around your world. You have the ability to create differently, simply because you choose. The ones that choose are the ones that create a new world, create a new reality. And those that never choose are kind of swept along. It's like a ship without a rudder. We're not saying that's bad, but recognize that you have the ability to make things differently. Now, another thing we wish to predict, and this has to do with your wars and battles and the things that are going in Afghanistan. Expect the U.S. military to be asked to leave that part of the world. There's something about what they're referring to as cowboy politics. So if you have not heard that before, expect that to be perhaps a new word. And what they're saying to you is shoot and ask later. They do not feel that they are being respected and you are, in effect, destroying their country. Now, that's not to say that is bad about your military, but it is the leadership that's involved with that that's saying this is okay to do this. This is part of the growth and evolving of the United States. But it is also some very old energy that is being created. This is from Roman times. If you're a part of the United States, then you most likely have been incarnated in Roman times. So it is very much like a police state. And while you speak of the United States being very peaceful and I want to say caring, that old energy is still there about this is the way things have to be done, and if you do not do it this way, then you are opposed. So those are the things to look forward for in the future. At some point, your United States military and politics are going to have to back off and honor other, we would say, beliefs. And when you do that, you're going to find things are going to change. But right now, you have a lot of old karmic energy of things that have been done in the past to try to create the world that your leaders would wish to project. And we're not saying they are wrong, we're simply saying that they are perhaps not correct in the way they're trying to accomplish them by being, I want to say, we'll call it sneaky behind the scenes creations. So recognize this is all creation. It is all about your thoughts. It's all about how you perceive the media and what's going to happen. So 2014 is really the changing point. We talked about 2012 being a time of change. So some of you have gone through that and you think, well, nothing has happened. 2014 is the manifestation beginning of the things that were designed in 2012. Everything prior to that point, or this point we should say to you, has been thought. It has been creation. It is things you've taken inside and decided what to do. And there now is so much energy involved with that you have decided to say, this is reality. This is what I wish. So things are happening. So expect, again, your military to be asked to leave Afghanistan, to leave things along in that part of the world. They're not attacking you. And the idea of being, we would say, pro-offensive is hardly a legitimate idea. If they are attacking you on your shores, then perhaps you have a reason to be more involved. But they are simply trying to survive what you are allowing to happen there. So you have the ability to change the whole world simply by going along with the idea of bringing your troops home, sending peace and calmness to the whole of the world. Again, 100 people makes a world of difference. So even with you and your ideals, if you send peace and love to that part of the world, to your military, you'll find that it begins to become more peaceful. There's nothing says that it has to have wars and battles. That is simply a control issue that your country prefers to follow. Now, it sounds like we are bad-mouthing your U.S. And perhaps we are. But what we're trying to do is to say, hey, you have been incarnated. Societies incarnate. You have been in this, that has been Egypt. You have been in Rome. You have been in Greece. You have been in Great Britain when they tried to rule the world. So all those energies are still being manifested. Now, we're not saying you in particular are responsible for that, but you are part of that energy. And you have the ability. The reason for being here is to change that to becoming a more loving, peaceful world. And you have that ability. And they have ones that do not decide. The more you decide this is what you'd like to see, the more you persuade them. So it doesn't mean that you have to go out on the street corner and say, hey, or hold a sign, the end of the world is near, or change your ways, or go wherever. It is a different time. So, now, one of the things we'd like to do with your permission is to take you through just a little meditation so that you can see that you can change your world. That is your most powerful creative ability, is to project into the future what you would like to have happen. And it happens on a personal level. And it has a direct effect from the moment you start. It may not change the whole of the world, but it changes your world. It changes what you can expect in the future. It changes your creations. What would you like to have happen? Or have you not decided? You see, if you do not decide, this is what I wish to have in the future, then you will keep what you are doing now. You will still be the same. Nothing will change. It's only when you decide, this is what I want to have happen. So, with your permission, if you will simply relax, take a deep breath, allow yourself to rid yourself of all the energies of the day and all the tensions. Know that the things that are happening have nothing to do with you. This is your creation. This is your world, your ability to do this. So close your eyes. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, relax, becoming very gentle with your body. Breathe in again. And notice that you're losing awareness of the body. Everything is mind. Everything that you think. See yourself in a very meditative place. Now, before you bring up a color, let that color represent whatever you wish it to be. If it's red, then it's possibly creative. If it's pink, perhaps love. But see it as a screen in front of you. Almost like a movie theater. Now, what would you like to have happen? What difficult thing do you see in your future? How can you make your future more delightful? What would it take to become and have the experience that you wish? If you wish to have abundance, then how do you start? This is the first page, the first step. What does it require of you? And let that picture come up and let yourself answer what you'd like to have created. A new relationship, a better relationship, a better job, better outlook, more love, more kindness, more compassion for the world around you, for the people around you. What would it take to make your world a happier place, a better place for you, for the world around you? And see yourself being that. If you're wishing to create happiness, then be happy. The people that you meet, the people that you greet, be genuine. Know that you're accepted. Do not hesitate simply because you think they will not agree with what you are thinking, what you are putting forth. Smile and allow it to happen for you. What would you like to have happen? Then see that beginning to progress. See yourself interacting with those around you, and notice that it's not about what they perceive to happen, but rather how you perceive yourself as happening, what you're being. See yourself changing, becoming more loving, more kind, more gentle. See yourself accomplishing the things you wish to accomplish. Better relationships, better job, better outlook. What do you wish? Perhaps you have other ideals and dreams. What is some of the ideals you had when you were young, when you were a child, when you were 13 or 14 or 15? What were the dreams that you did not accomplish, that you thought, boy, if I could do this, I would accomplish and be the happiest person in the world? And then somewhere along the way, we got so tied up perhaps in the routine of daily living that you have forgotten about those dreams. So let this come back up. What would you wish to be? Notice the color that is there. Do not allow the word impossible or too late or too long or too difficult to enter your mind. Simply say, this is the things that I dreamed my life would be like. See that happening. See yourself accomplishing, being and doing those childhood dreams. Now bring yourself forward in time. You're 21, 22, 23, 24 perhaps, in that area. Notice dreams change. Things change. Perhaps you have a family. Perhaps relationships. Make it perfect. It's all about you. It's not about anyone else. It's not about your partner. It's all about how you perceive life. You can make it happy or sad. You can make it delightful or hellish. But it's all up to you, no one else. It is a choice that you make. Now see it happen. See that things begin to progress, little at a time. Now, bring yourself to a current age. All the things that you have left behind, all the things that you would have done, could have done, should have done, or not, bring them up and recognize it's just a thought away. You can be whatever you wish. You can accomplish whatever you wish, but it has to start with thoughts. You have to have some idea of how you go from step 1 to step 2 to being where you're at now. Unless you just simply decide to be that. Everything is created from thought. If you never thought what you would like to have, then nothing would ever happen. You would be just like the animal kingdom. They simply live life day to day, accept what's happened, but you're different. You have this ability to reason, to wonder, to create. You are gods of this universe. So create what you would like. Now you have been perhaps slaves and warriors in past lives, and those energies are still around you. This is a time to release those and allow you to accomplish the things you wish to accomplish. What do you wish to be? And it will happen almost like magic. The things will begin to occur in your life simply because this is how you are feeling. This is what you have asked the universe for, and the universe always agrees with the things that you think and the things that you would like to do. You are the one that has decided. You get to paint the picture. You get to create, especially on a personal level, things like you never imagined before, simply because you thought, well, it's too late, or I'm too old, or I'm not smart enough. But you are. Everything is a thought creation, and it is uniquely yours. You are the only person, individual that is here, that is creating the world for you. There's no one else, nothing else. There's no God or no devil that says you can't do this or you can do this. It is all your creation. Everything that you need, you have been given. But you are the thinker. You are the holder of the thought. You are the holder of creation. You are the manifester of your life, the things that you would like to have. And it is all within your hand. And we can only say to you, believe, and it is yours. Be, and it is already there. Now, very gently, bring yourself back to this world that you call real, and recognize that it is perhaps not real because it is not attuned to you, simply because you have believed that you are not creators, that you cannot manifest. And yet we tell you, you each are the most powerful beings that you will ever know. No one else or no thing else can create as efficiently as you do in the life that you are living. You are the one that is responsible for it. So gently bring yourself back. Wide awake. Wiggle your hands and toes. And remember that, oh, what a beautiful morning song with a little bit of catchy rhythm there.